We've got a few things that we still need to tweak and tune. One of the biggest things I'm concerned about is you still got that real habit of either getting flat-footed or slight, and neither one of those is a formula for success in the game of football. I don't care what it is and what you're trying to do. You need to be on the balls of the feet, whether it's to drive into the hips and capture lower body motion energy. You need to be on the balls of your feet. Football is about 4 elements: balance, leverage, power, and mobility. And to do that, you got to have your feet up under you. You got to be on the balls of your feet. Okay? So we need to fix that. That's probably the biggest issue I see. We have observed that you sometimes drag the ball on the ground a little bit. That is going to hurt your accuracy. But the other thing I'm concerned, not your accuracy, I'm sorry, your power, because you close the ball down somewhat. You got lots of power. So it's not a huge issue. The bigger thing I'm concerned about there is different playing surfaces will have different effects on the ball when you're doing that. You could get on an old traditional, old school AstroTurf, and if it drags just right, you'll bounce that ball and throw it 3 stories above your punter's head. So let's be aware of that. And we had totally eliminated it last week a little bit, and then it's coming back ever so slightly since then. But I think you can probably figure that out. You know, and you're a smart guy and you spend all your time snapping, so we'll be okay. The things we saw coming into camp this week, you know, Colin marked you down as slightly compact. That's not an issue. What it is an observation that your torso relative to the limbs is a little different proportionally. So we're not going to worry about that either. Little tall in the saddle, believe it or not. Not quite enough knee bend. Okay. That can obviously lead to a rear hitch as you dip the rear to try and get the legs into it and stuff like that. So we want to get that more optimal. Up to but not exceeding 90 degrees in the bend of the knees. Okay. Little flat-footed still, which again, we said it's counterproductive, but also when you're flat-footed, really about the only way you can drive with your legs is pretty much straight up like a hack squat, which means we're not capturing lower body motion energy to the fullest extent possible. We need that back from the balls of the feet or toes back up into the hips at an angle of attack of about 15 to 20 degrees, 10 to 20 is what I usually say, so that that energy can converge and combine with what's traveling down the spine through the hips towards your target. When that happens, you're capturing all motion energy and using it to accelerate the football to your punter or holder. Okay? The arrow concept, right? Wherever that arrow's pointed, where those energies converge, that's going to be the flight trajectory of the ball, and that's where the ball's going to go. Sure. All right? So essentially, those are the 2 biggest things. They said you're a little up on your toes at the finish, and I think we did have you falling forward last week. I think what that's all about is you're a really good athlete. Even being flat-footed, you're trying really hard to get driving, and what happens is you're kind of hopping up in the air. You see what happens there when you drive off the flat foot and your feet can come out from under you? You're getting a little light off the ground. So let's really get you set right, keep you in contact with planet Earth throughout the motion, okay? Go ahead and set up. We're going to 3-step you the first time. Did we have 2 balls here or just 1? Okay. Could you grab that other one for us? Would you mind? Joshua? Yeah. Okay, you ready? First thing we're going to do is 3-step you. You ready? I'm going to pull you forward, getting your knee bend to 90 degrees or less, straightening the back, fully extending the arms. I'm going to raise you up, maximizing operating room under the torso. Then I'm going to push you back into the hips, not down to the ground, okay, but back into the hips towards your target till the heels touch the ground, knees are over the toes, you're solid on your feet. Does that feel comfortable? Ought to feel real good. The load bearing should be on the quads for comfort and maximum potential explosion. No pressure in the hip flexors, which would tense you up and slow you down. You okay? Good. Give it a good hard throw. Should feel pretty good. The last thing I don't like, and it's just a matter of sheer laziness, you finish that snap, you pop up at the waist. Number 1, it's a slow movement. Number 2, it's going to put a lot of strain on the lower back. And number 3, there's a real tendency for that center of gravity at the belly button to roll behind the hips, and you're going to finish on your heels. Even a scrawny, burned out, bald old man like me with no muscles could knock you on your butt. And how's that going to look for a big studly athlete like Darby Palmer? Okay? Good. You want to finish that snap, Darby, do this. Break it down. Bring the head position where you're balanced and leveraged to do whatever comes next, whether it's covering the field or blocking, okay? So what we had coming in, you were tall in the saddle a little bit and kind of flat-footed. What we're doing is lowering the back end down, shoving the weight around to position the knees directly over the toes for optimal balance, okay? Arm extension looks pretty good. You can put it out a little further as long as it doesn't pull weight forward. You see that? Yes, give it a good hard throw. There you go. And then again, to finish, you don't have to do a dance. Just finish, break down. Finish, break down. Okay, let's do one more. Colin, you want to give him a water break? Did everybody get the full explanation of the merits of that? Did everyone get a full explanation of the merits of what we do on the hill? Okay. All right. So, just settling you down, getting you balanced, Darby. We're moving the knees forward to get them over the toes, keep you better balanced on the balls of the feet. Go ahead. Okay. That's excellent. I want you to do one more because I think I see what may be happening with the drag of the ball. I'm going to have a seat. Nice. Might be doing something. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you are. Okay. All right, Joshua, let me see that ball one more time, sir. Give him a water break, and then we'll move on to hurdle and small ball, if that's okay. And Colin, in my blue bag, I got a third small ball. You might as well blow it up. All right. You know what you're doing, Darby, when you start the snap? You're a right-hander, right? Okay. So you got your hand on the grip. When you start the snap, you do this. And then you snap the ball. Now, I'm exaggerating horrifically. But you're adjusting the hand before you start to throw. Get that hand where it's going to stay stationary and come straight through, and I think that's going to eliminate a ton. The other thing you could do to reduce the pickup, you've got the strings about right there. I'd say that's, I don't know, depending on how you look at it, 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. If you were to roll the strings a little more underneath the ball to closer to 6 o'clock, it's going to cock the wrist a little bit, and it's also probably going to prevent you from sliding the ball on the ground. Okay? But the biggest part of that issue is you're adjusting the hand before you start to throw, and that's creating the drag and what's going on there. So, all right. You might want, I don't normally weaken a grip, but let go with this hand, see if you can pick the ball up with that grip right there. Up, now, turn the ball through. Can you hold that and throw it? Try to start from right there. Let's see what happens. This is important stuff for a guy at your level. A little less. You didn't adjust as much. Let's do one more. Okay. Let's just do this. Leave the thumb the same and just put the strings underneath. Let's see what happens. Go ahead. How'd that feel? Good. That should feel pretty good. You got to learn and train yourself. I don't think you need to narrow the thumb. Normally you don't want to weaken a grip by bringing the thumb closer to the hand. You want an opposed thumb so you can throw that ball. But we need to practice keeping that thumb stationary. Try doing something for me with your right hand. Increase the squeeze of the grip just a little bit. Keep that contact. And, yeah. Just become very conscious and aware of that grip right now. Focus on nothing but holding that hand where it is as you start the snap, okay? That's it. You need to increase the grip strength a little bit, and I think that's going to make all the difference. Much, much less drag of the ball. The strings underneath probably, combined with that, would probably perfect it, but I want you just focusing on grip today until we get that mastered before the end of camp, okay? Do you have any questions? No, sir. Okay, okay? You're not too forward, you're not too flat-footed. Try to sit a tiny bit deeper. I think that alone would help you get better position, weight distribution-wise. Comfortable with the rest of it? Good, hard, quick throw. See how much more solid on your feet you are? Okay. Yeah, because you're getting fatigued, so you're starting to not sit as deep into the stance. It's just a discipline to make yourself set up right. When you have the right degree of knee bend, it's much, much easier to get the knees over the toes and distribute your weight around the center of gravity for optimum balance. Right there is the Darby Palmer.